Greetings, Culture Heads, and welcome to another edition of Culture News Today. I don't even know what number this is. Episode 3. It's already early, and I already forget numbers. That lets you know we're about to be doing this for a long time. About to see how long we can take it. I know the original video series went for a while, and a lot of people were checking those out, and there's people still watching them, which is pretty crazy. So, about to do the same for this season as well. So, AnthemCulture.com, man. You already know we're posted up here at ACHQ. So yeah, making a lot of things happen, doing a lot of work. Actually landed a new client today when it comes to doing a bit of work for them that I gotta do it over the next couple days. So I gotta get to it for real. But yeah, other than that, we got a lot of things coming, man. Shout out to everybody that's still checking out the Culture News, the Culture in Peru album. A lot of great things, a lot of great feedback with that. So keep checking it out, keep playing it, keep hitting play, and let me know your favorite songs. And new music coming. Definitely a new song coming by the end of this week. Really just got to get around. I'm going to put together like a really dope lyric video. Actually, one of the reasons why I do lyric videos is because now I'm starting to meet people from like all over the world, and not everybody, their first language is English. So, you know, the lyric videos, it helps them learn a bit of English. I noticed that that's a lot of ways that they actually practice the language, is actually listening to a lot of American songs. So I said, hey, they may as well listen to my music since I know it personally. So the lyric videos are really for a lot of you guys, and I actually really like a lot of the lyrics, and it tells a lot of like personal stories of just what goes on, life on the road, just exploring culture here and there, all over the place. So yeah, make sure you read along, sing along, and enjoy everything that's been coming out. So yeah, man, shout out to all the culture heads following along. Some great news stories actually that came up today. Really great information from some really interesting places as well, places you normally wouldn't think you get news from. So that's what we like to do, you know, is exploring culture. So doing a lot of research, getting a lot of different sources coming in as far as culture news. So I just sit here, read through all of that, do a lot of research on my own just to keep abreast of what's going on in the world of culture. So we're about to jump into the site right now. Let me load it up. And for those of you who are on the Anthem Culture app, you can look at it right through there as well. So the first story that we actually have up is coming out from Latvia. And Latvia, actually, one of the biggest things that they're starting to promote is the literature. So it's actually a company called Latvian Literature that promotes a lot of exactly that, Latvian literature, you know. So they're working with a lot of different authors when it comes to just getting their works out into the world. So one of the biggest things is not everybody understands the Latvian language. So one of the big services that they provide to a lot of these young authors is the translation service. So the article actually posted on Anthem Culture right now is it takes you to, it tells you all of the, I guess, like upcoming titles from a lot of the literature pieces and a lot of the classics from out in Latvia, and just the different areas that it's been translated into. So some of the pieces have translated into multiple languages. Some of them are still in translation right now. So really just to expand like the literature when it comes to Latvia and just expand the culture out that way. So they're doing a really great thing. So they have a lot more works coming out that's being translated, so you could get a bit of taste of the type of classics that they have, and even like some of the popular comics out that way. So make sure you read more about that on AnthemCulture.com. So I literally, right before I started recording this podcast, I was eating some chocolate, and actually Ecuador is one of the best places for chocolate in the world, they say. So they say like when it comes to like mass producing chocolate, like for a lot of the commercial brands, they get that from other places in the world. But when you want to talk about like really fine chocolate, you go straight to Ecuador, and it's something about like the landscape, the location of it. So it just happened to have all of the perfect ingredients to make the perfect chocolate. So they have a lot of different farms that cultivate cocoa beans, and a lot of those people are actually like, a lot of the older people have their own methods, and then now they're starting to bring up a lot of the younger people. So it's really an article that's posted on AnthemCulture.com that explains a lot about the different farms out that way. And so if you're really a big fan of chocolate and even want to know about like some of the brands that you could taste that actually get their chocolate from Ecuador, you definitely want to get there. So I mean, I can still taste the chocolate in my mouth right now. And just thinking about like, wow, it's actually like better chocolate out there. I actually want to explore. That's like one of my favorite, I guess, like flavors out there. So yeah, that's definitely a destination now if you want to go on like a cocoa tour and taste some like really chocolate and hang out with a lot of chocolatiers. Make sure you stop by Ecuador. So make sure you check that out on anthemculture.com. Yeah. So one of the cool things is we got a story in from North Korea. North Korea is actually participating in the Olympics. You know, the Olympics this year, the Winter Olympics this year is going to be held out in South Korea. So it's not too far of a journey, right? I mean, they just got to go a couple miles south, just a little ways, you know. But yeah, so apparently like they're not only going to be sending athletes out that way, but they're also going to be sending out an entire cheering squad. So they actually participated in a few other Olympics, like the Summer Olympics over the past couple years, and a lot of that was just based off of they really wanted to cheer their people on and really show support. So they had like a lot of like intense meetings. It made it sound, as far as like South Korea, North Korea, and like the inter-Korean sports associations, just for trying to figure out, okay, how can we really make this work? How can we get all of these people here? So not only are they now talking about like the development of the sports and just getting them out there, but also like doing a bit of tourism. So they want to like slowly but surely bridge the gap between the two countries. So that's something you usually don't hear about every day, especially in the Western world. So that's definitely a really cool story to read about, and you know, I had to put it up on Anthem Culture. So make sure you read more about that on anthemculture.com. Let me know your thoughts and ideas on that as well. Out in Ghana, it's actually in the capital, Accra. It's one of the biggest like recycling places when it comes to I guess you could call it e-waste. So that comes from like all technology byproducts. So whether it's like circuit boards or just old technology that gets thrown away, they actually do a lot of the recycling out that way. So a lot of these large plants, you know, it's very toxic environment just because of like, all of the chemicals and things of that nature that go into making these products. But one visionary, he's only 21 years old. His name is Joseph Awua Darko, and he works out this way, but now he came up with the idea and actually started a collective for people actually to start taking a lot of these materials and turning them into upscale artwork. So they actually started to do a lot of like furniture, and even like one of the most popular pieces is a clock that they're starting to build up. And they got so much attention just based off of these early pieces that now they're saying like, okay, now we really need to take this more seriously. So instead of just making like the low wages that they would be making just working at the actual like chemical plant, now they have another source of potential revenue that they could be doing on the side, and even something that extends it further and just like further recycles it, I guess. Instead of just using it for technology, now you're using it in another medium as artwork. So make sure you read more about that on anthemculture.com. You can check out some of the pictures as far as like him going to work right in his studio. I think like all of the people that's a part of the collective were in the university. So, you know, they go from the university to the dump, wasteland, into the studio to make some artwork. So it's really cool situation, and I'm curious to see like how far they're able to take that, and even just to see some of the finished products. So make sure you check more about that on anthemculture.com. And speaking of artwork, you don't have to, if you're in America, you don't have to go like all the way around the world just to see some Egyptian mummies, because thankfully the Toledo Museum of Art is now bringing back two popular museum exhibits that feature like these mummy showcases, and these were actually purchased by two people that went out there. I think back in it's over like 100 years ago, back in like the 1900s, they went out to Egypt and then brought back to the collection these two mummies. So now these two mummies have been, you know, recycled throughout various exhibits, but now they've been off the show floor for a little bit, but now they're coming right back out. So they have a exhibit called The Mummies from Egypt to Toledo, which is, of course, is a fitting name, right? And it opens up February 3rd, so set your calendars. Make sure you get ready for that if you want to see some like real life mummy action. And these pieces are like one of the most popular that are in the storeroom. So make sure you read more about that on anthemculture.com. You can check out some of the pictures when it comes to what the mummies look like. and even more information about the actual exhibit. So all of that is right on anthemculture.com, as well as a lot more information. Make sure you continue to check out the news feed when it comes to like the social media, like Facebook. Make sure you like that and share all of the content on there. Twitter, make sure you retweet everything, like everything, send that out in itself. So yeah, it's just a lot of information, a lot of content when it comes to like culture. You know, it's things always happening. So Anthem Culture, you know, it's at the forefront of culture and of the world. So we know everything. We get it all here. I see everything when it happens in the world, which is kind of cool to think about. So yeah, anthemculture.com, man, all day, every day. Make sure you check that out. Continue to check it out. Thanks for everybody supporting. Shout out to all the culture heads. Appreciate culture.